All right, welcome back to video number 6, the very last video in the series, I think. And this series is all about alternative foods that you can bring backpacking. It's a series that is really specifically made for people who are making the transition from a standard American backpacking diet to a more plant-based, vegan-style backpacking diet. And one of these days on these videos, I'm going to kind of get into the debate of what the heck does that vegan word mean and how do I use it, but it's not going to happen in this video. So, I was definitely a big meat eater on the trail. I would have that pepperoni cheese. I thoroughly enjoyed going down to this little deli a couple towns over and talking to the butcher about getting these different types of hard salami and bringing them out on the trail. And when I started making the transition, I was searching for other protein sources because really in my mind at the time, I was thinking, well, protein is something that you only eat, at those meals, especially dinner and lunch. And while none of these are going to serve the same need as chawing on a stick of beef, you can insert into them your meals to get that protein and also to kind of get that meat texture and that same sort of like meat taste. So the first one is textured vegetable protein. Now I have videos on this on the channel, so I'm not going to go into it. If you want to know more about textured vegetable protein, check in the description, or maybe I'll put the link up there and you can see the video all about that. I don't have any in the house to show you, so I'll insert a picture here because the store that I normally travel to and get it whenever I go buy it was out of it the last time I drove by it. And so I'm going to have to wait a couple of weeks before the next time I drive by it. And I'll try to, hopefully they'll have it restocked and I can buy some. But that is a great, textured vegetable protein is a great thing to use if you're making the transition. Whatever you flavor it with, it will taste like that kind of meat. If you put it into something and add some beef bouillon, it's going to taste like little pieces of beef. If you're going to spice it up with some taco seasoning, it's going to taste like ground beef. If you put it in there into like a vegetable soup or something that would traditionally have chicken, you would swear that it is chicken. It rehydrates real fast, and you don't even need to have hot water to have it rehydrate quickly. And so that's a great thing to use making the transition. The second thing that you've seen on this channel, and again, I'm not going to go big into this. This is really kind of just an advertisement for another video that I've done on soy curls before. I'll leave a description in the link below, or in the description. In the description below, I will leave a link to the video on Butler Soy curls so you can find out more details about them. But Butler Soy curls, whereas TVP is little tiny chunks. Now you can get TVP in all sorts of different sizes. What you're going to find around your grocery store, unless you special order it, is the size that will end up looking like ground beef. Butler Soy curls, I think they have like a little tiny one that's available, but what you'll most likely find is it looks just like this. And so you can put it into your backpacking meals like this, or you can break it up. And this works just like TVP, except I think nutritionally it's better. It's also thicker, so it's chewier. So if you are looking for that transition from meat to something else, this will totally fake you out. If you put this in the chicken soup, you're going to swear you're eating a piece of chicken. And so this is another easy thing to use when you're making the transition from meat to a more plant-based diet. So Butler Soy curls. The other thing, if you're just looking to add, to substitute that protein, is you can kind of make your own protein powder. And again, I feel like this video is just an advertisement for other videos, but I do have a video on how to make your own nut protein powder. And so you can check out that video. It's in the description to this one. And so by grinding up different nuts, you can pretty much get a pretty complete protein powder that's a DIY. You can mix it in. It's great for mixing into your breakfast. That's the easiest place to put it in, where I think it fits most naturally taste-wise. But you can also add some into whatever dinner you have as well. And depending on what you eat for lunch, you can do that as well. But making your own protein powder is simple. Speaking of protein powder, not that I'd be a big, huge fan of doing this, but if you did chop out all your meat and you're looking for that really simple, just protein replacement, and you are just transitioning and you're trying to figure all sorts of things out, There are some high quality protein powders out there. This one is Garden of Life that I recommend, and you can buy them flavored. The last thing, and I have not done a video on this channel yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to present this product, and that is, one second, and that is dried bean curd. So it's in English on one side, Chinese on the other. This is definitely an Asian market or a specialized health food store or order online sort of product. This is very different than the TVP and the soy curls because first of all, it's a totally different texture. It's still a soy product. It's basically dehydrated tofu. Did I say that right? Dehydrated tofu. And this is not quick to dehydrate. No, it's not quick to rehydrate. So unlike throwing in a soy curl and you can eat it 20 minutes later, if you were gonna soak these, you'd have to wait, depending on the temperature or other sort of area, whether it's a big piece, a little piece. Some of these are really, really tight and some of these are really, really thin. Depending on all that, you'd have to wait a minimum of like 3 hours for it to rehydrate. But the texture is very different. So if you add in a Butler Soy curl, if you add in your own DIY protein powder, you know, it's chewy, but it's not really, I don't know, it's still a little bit of mushy. So I'll use these in a meal just because the texture is so different. They're very chewy. Now, honestly, I have never actually had these like cooked with hot water the way they're supposed to be. I've only had them cold soaked. So I don't know if when they're cooked with hot water, if they stay that chewy. But they are a neat texture to add to your meals. You'd have to be willing to do one of two things, and that is to start cold soaking them probably right after lunch or whatever your afternoon snack is. Put them in your cold soak jar, just cover them with water and leave them soaking until dinner. The other alternative is to soak them overnight and eat them in something in the morning. But again, these are dried bean curd sticks. Very different texture. If you've never tried them, they are not an expensive item if you can find them in the store. I'm not sure how much they actually cost online. I'll leave a link below when I find them. But definitely something that is different than your normal regular source of protein. So there you go. You can survive and get enough protein without eating meat. And again, I know that if you are already vegan or if you are already plant-based, you're going to say that, you know, you don't even need these to get your protein. You are correct. But for, I think, someone who is transitioning and looking to just make substitutes, like one-to-one substitutes, bean curds would be great if you cook. If you cook your meals, this is an easy substitute. If you're a cold soaker, which is just the mentality that I have, and then I would recommend the soy curls. I mean, they're great for cooking as well. So there you go, some easy substitutes for meat.